from Sashasai Paper and Boards Limited, Erode, Tamil Nadu. In our earlier presentations, we had already seen videos on ISO 9001 and ISO 14000 now. Now in this video, we will discuss about ISO 45001 2018 standard. Welcome to ISO 45001 2018 standard learning and training material. This latest ISO standard is also termed as Occupation Health and Safety Management System. What is ISO 45001? It is a globally recognized and accepted occupational health and safety management system which highlights the specific requirements for maintaining an occupational health and safety system for the employees in an organization. Guides us how to manage health and safety risk in all the activities, that is starting from raw material, processes, final product handling and servicing. ISO 45001 applies to all types and sizes of organizations. Why we need ISO 45001? Due to globalization, more and more organizations started to trade across country borders, facing new health and safety challenges. Rising health and safety costs and increasing strict legal regulations were also a concern. Many countries had their own national health and safety standards, which are not globally recognized by ISO. And to standardize, ISO project committee decided to develop an international standards for occupational health and safety management system. Thus, the committee, in coordination with experts and representatives from all the countries, developed a globally accepted standard, which they termed as ISO 45001 2018 standard. This standard was developed as per high-level structure with 10 main clauses similar to ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 to have more compatibility with each other. This system helps in prevention of injury and ill health at all the work spots in the organization by the elimination of hazards and reduction of occupational health and safety risks for all the employees and other stakeholders. The employees, service providers, contract workers and visitors are the most prized assets, hence we need to protect them from injury and ill health. It also improves organization safety culture by evolving from reaction to prevention, that is from proactive, that is positive culture change. Since ISO 9001, ISO 14000, ISO 45000 follow the common HLS, that is high level structure, they are more compatible with each other and can be merged as IMS, that is integrated management systems. Let's go into the history of ISO 45001 evaluation. First issue was termed as OHSMS 18001 1999, which is a British standard. It is not an ISO standard. Second revised issue was released in 2007. This was also not an ISO standard. Finally, the third issue, which was a new version, was released by ISO committee in 2018 and they termed it as ISO 45018 2018 standard. Transition time was given as 3 years from 2018 from old standard to new standard migration by 2021. At present, only new standard is being followed, audited and certified. What is safety triangle? It is estimated by the ILO, International Labour Organization, that some 25 lakhs women and men around the world are affected by work-related accidents or diseases every year. This corresponds to over 6,000 deaths every single day. Bird safety triangle shows that for every fatal or serious injury, there will be reports of 10 serious accidents, 30 minor accidents and 600 near misses. In other words, an increase of unsafe acts and near miss incidents indicates an increased severity of incidents when they actually happen. Hence, we need to be more careful and do root cause analysis for all the incidents, including the near misses too. Eliminate the root causes, ensure they do not happen again. Also verify for the effectiveness of corrective actions and ensure the corrective actions are in place and sustained. What are the objectives of ISO 45001? ISO 45000 helps organizations minimize the risk of harm to all the workers working under their control. Provides a platform for continuing improvement in occupational health safety performance. Integrate occupational safety with the organization's overall business management system. The success of occupational health safety depend on the following key factor. Top management commitment is very essential for the success. Ensure effective communication to reach all concerned. Ensure effective participation of workers and their department representatives in safety meetings and in preparing HIRA register, that is Hazard Identification and Risk Assessment Register. Management ensures resources are allocated for implementing and maintaining the system. Formulating occupational safety policy which is compatible with the objectives and directions of the organization. Close monitoring and periodic evaluation of occupational health safety management system to improve its performance. Ensure occupational health and safety management is integrated into the organization business processes. Organization should comply with all its applicable legal and other requirements, fix responsibility and accountabilities. High level structure of ISO 45000, which is quite similar to ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. Here also it has 10 main clauses which are the requirements of the standard. First 1 to 3 clauses are non-auditable clauses and for reference and guidance only. The rest 7 clauses, that is from clause 4 to 10, are mandatory and auditable clauses which a company has to understand well, follow sincerely if it wants to be certified for ISO 45001. You can also see that these clauses 4 to 10 are integrated with the PDA cycle, that is P stands for plan, D for do, C for check, and finally A for act. Clause 4 to 10, that is context of the organization, leadership and workers participation, planning and support come under plan in PDCA cycle. Clause 8 refers to operation, which comes under do. Clause 9 performance evaluation comes under check, and finally clause 10 improvements comes under act. Now let's see the main clauses and sub clauses from clause 4 to clause 10 and how they are related to PDCA. Under plan, clause 4 is context of the organization. Subclause 4.1 is understanding the organization and its context, meaning first identify the external and internal issues that affect the occupational health and safety of all the employees and other stakeholders in the organization. Next is 4.2, that is understanding the needs and expectations of workers and other interested parties. We need to understand what are the expectations of employees, suppliers, customers, stakeholders, neighbors, legal and government authorities, ensure that their health and safety are guarded well. Determining the scope, 4.3 is determining the scope of occupational safety management system. Determine the boundaries and applicability of occupational safety to the external and internal issues, compliance obligations, business activities, products and services of the organization. Determine where you can mitigate, control directly or influence only. 4.4 Occupational and Safety Management System. You need to integrate the requirements of the occupational safety management system into your various business processes. Example, design and development, procurement, production, human resources, sales and marketing for effective implementation and controlling the occupational and safety in the organ. Next main clause 5 is leadership and worker participation. Subclause 5.1 deals with the leadership and commitment. Top management takes accountability for prevention of work-related injury and ill health and provision of safe and healthy workplaces with effective participation of workers or their representatives for integrating occupational and safety management requirements into the business processes. 5.2 is how to formulate the occupational and safety policy. Organizations should ensure in the occupational and safety policy that they are committed to eliminate hazards and reduce occupational and safety risk in all the business processes. Fulfill legal requirements and other requirements, ensuring effective participation of workers and continual improvements on occupational safety management system. 5.3 is organization roles or responsibility authorities. Organizations should ensure responsibility authorities for relevant roles are well assigned, communicated in the organization, and ensure that occupational safety management system requirements are strictly followed. 5.4 Consultation and participation of workers. Organizations should ensure consultation and participation of workers at all levels and functions in the planning, implementation, occupational health and safety management system. Also determining corrective actions to eliminate hazards and reduce occupational safety risk in all their business process. Next main clause 6 focuses on planning. 6.1 Actions to address risk and opportunity. Hazard identification for occupational risk in all the business processes and interested party requirements. prevent or reduce undesired effects, compliance of up-to-date legal and other requirements, response to emergency situations, follow hierarchy of controls for addressing the hazards. 6.2 deals with formulating of occupational health and safety objectives. Set smart occupational health and safety objectives as per applicable requirements and hazard identification findings. Involve workers, ensure objectives are integrated in the organization's business processes too. Main clause 7 is about support. Subclause 7.1 deals with resources, that is, ensure man, machine, material, measurement, infrastructure, conducive workmen are provided for all employees for the implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the occupational safety management in this organization. Subclause 7.2 is about assessing and improving the competence of the working crew. Ensure all employees are competent with appropriate education and necessary training to identify hazards in their workforce processes, etc. Evaluate the effectiveness of safety awareness. Retrain them if needed. Maintain relevant records. 4.3 focus on awareness. Ensure all employees are aware of the organization's occupational safety policy, occupational safety objectives and targets, potential consequences of not conforming to the occupational safety management system requirement, outcomes of incident investigation, occupational and safety risk and controls that are relevant to them. Seven point is about communication. Procedure to be prepared for internal and external communication, that is, for workers, interested parties, visitors, legal authorities related to occupational safety requirement, should include what, when, with whom, and how to communicate. 7.5 is about documented information, that is, how occupational safety documents are to be prepared, what are the relevant documents and records to be maintained as per occupational safety management system requirements with the proper identification for easy retrieval, etc. Documents can be in digital form also. Next we come to do, and against it is the main clause 8, operation. Subclause 8.1 operation, planning and control. The organization shall establish, implement and maintain processes for the elimination of hazards and reduction of occupational safety risks within the organization activities, contractors activities, including outsourced activities. 8.2 is emergency preparedness and response. Prepare emergency preparedness procedures for potential emergency situations like fire, chemical accidents, etc. Provision of first aid, providing training to relevant personnel, conduct mock drills at regular intervals, audit the mock drills and communicate the finding to all concerned for suggestions and corrections. Have a safety team to monitor all these. Under check clause 9, performance evaluation. Subclause 9.1, which talks about monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation. First, decide what needs are to be monitored and measured for the identified hazard, risk and opportunities, effectiveness of operation and other controls, criteria to evaluate occupational safety performance, evaluate compliance with legal and other requirements, retain documented information of the compliance evaluation result. 9.2 is about how to conduct ISO internal audits. Select and train ISO auditors and auditees. Audits to be conducted at planned intervals to ascertain whether occupational safety management requirements are effectively implemented and maintained. Check the status of occupational safety objectives and their targets. Check whether the actions taken for previous audit findings are effective. Audit results are reported to top management and also communicated to all concerned. Verify whether corrective actions have been taken to address the internal audit finding. Retain relevant internal audit documents for external audits. 9 point is about conducting management review meetings. Management shall review occupational safety management to ensure its adequacy and effectiveness. Prepare MR agenda, status of actions taken from previous MR meetings, changes in the external internal issues relevant to occupational safety, needs of interested parties including legal compliance, risk and opportunities, status of occupational safety objective, incidents and status of non-conformities, identify the internal audit and external audit, adequacy of resource requirements, status of communication with the interested parties, opportunities for continual improvement, communicate the relevant outputs of management reviews to all concerned, retain MR relevant documents for external audit. Under Act The last clause 10 improvement. Subclause 10.1 is general. Organization shall determine opportunities for improvement and implement necessary action to achieve the intended outcomes of its occupational safety requirements. 10.2 is about incident, non-conformity and corrective action. Take action to control and correct incidents and non-conformity. Involve workers to find the root causes for the non-conformity and ensure they do not occur again or elsewhere. Ensure safe corrective action in accordance with the hierarchy of controls. Review the effectiveness of corrective action taken. Retain documented information of incidents, non-conformities and actions taken. Communicate the documented information to all concerned and relevant interested parties. 10.3 is about continual improvement. Take proactive steps to continually improve the adequacy and effectiveness of occupation and safety management. Enhance organization occupation health and safety performance. Promoting the participation of workers in implementing actions for continual improvement of the occupational safety management system. Promote a culture that supports occupational safety management system. Maintain and retain documented information as evidence for continual improvements. Now let's see some of the keywords in ISO 45001. First is context of the organization. First, we must know our organization vision and mission and values and the purpose of our business. Then identify the organizational issues and needs and requirements of interested parties of the organization in reference to occupational safety. Organizational issues can be external or internal. First, know what are your external issues. Examples are social, political, legal, financial, technological, economic, natural surroundings and market competition, contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, new technology and new laws. Any issues in these should be resolved immediately. Similarly, internal issues like governance, organizational structure, roles and accountabilities, policies, objectives and strategies, provision of resources, training, knowledge and competence of employees and occupational health and safety requirements of employees. Any issues in these are to be addressed for the successful implementation of occupational safety management in the organization. Next, under needs and expectation interest parties, we should also fully know what are the requirements of the stakeholders like customers, suppliers, legal, regulatory bodies with respect to occupational safety. If there are any issues, then we must take corrective action to address the issues for doing our business without any hindrance. What is change management or control of changes? All changes in the organization are to be fully understood and ensure whether the changes has any impact on the occupational safety of employees and other stakeholders. Examples: any change in the raw materials, new product develop, new equipment added, changes made in the process, new in process chemicals added are to be reviewed whether these changes are having any impact on health and safety of the employees and others. These changes, the impacts on occupational safety and proposed countermeasures to address the impacts are to be captured in the change management format and submitted to top management for approval for moving forward in implementing the changes. The change activities with appropriate risk factors are also to be captured in the HIRA register too. Let's see what are hazards. Some display boards about hazards are given here. Hazard means source, situation or act with the potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health or a combination of these. Examples include sources, example moving machinery, radiation or energy sources. Situation, example working at heights in confined spaces. Acts, example manual lifting. In this slide, some common hazards in workplace are shown. They are hazardous chemicals. If they are not handled safely, they may cause body injury. Ladder, condition of the ladder, that is, if the anti-slippery rubber shoes are found worn out or missing, person may fall from the ladder and cause body injury. Scaffolding, if scaffoldings are not tied properly with ropes or bolts are not tightened properly, scaffolding may become loose and collapse, causing injury to body. Vehicle accidents. Vehicles should move with slow speed inside the factory to avoid accidents to workers. Forklift vehicles inside the factory should have reverse horns with the blinking danger lights. If not working or absent, these may lead to accidents. Respiratory hazard. In dust-prone areas, nose mask should be worn. If PPEs are not used, this may lead to respiratory problems. Electric wiring, motor, electric panel, and welding machines, earthing wires should be properly earthed. If found detached or corroded, should be rectified immediately. Exposed wiring should be properly insulated, otherwise this may lead to electrocution of persons. Machinery malfunction may also lead to accident. Ensure safety guards are intact. Rotating parts may get detached and hit a person, causing injury if the fastening nuts and bolts are not fully tightened. Falling objects from height. Workers who are working inside the factory should wear PPEs like helmets to avoid any object falling from height due to maintenance job on the head or body and cause injury. Slippery and wet floors. Ensure there are no slippery wet floors in the work spots lest it will lead to slip and fall a person and cause body injury. Always use mops to clean the floors. Do not use water hoses for floor cleaning. Poor housekeeping. Ensure good housekeeping always. Good housekeeping ensures safety environment. Hazard identification. Hazard identification should consider the different types of hazards in the workplace. They are physical, example noise, heat, vibrations, radiations, etc. Chemical, example paint, solvents, exhaust fumes, dust, etc. Biological, example bacteria, viruses, pathogens, etc. Psychosocial, examples are stress, anxiety, fatigue, fear, etc. Hazards have the potential to cause human injury or ill health. Hazards therefore identified and risks associated with these hazards are assessed, and if no controls exist or existing controls are inadequate, effective controls are implemented according to the hierarchy of controls. The overall purpose of the risk assessment process is to recognize and understand the hazards that might arise in the course of the organized activities and ensure that the risk to people arising from these hazards are assessed, prioritized, and controlled to a level that is acceptable. Hazard identification is conducted by a cross-functional team with a multidisciplinary. Example, process, mechanical, electrical, civil personnel are involved in hazard identification. Appropriate involvement of workers from the relevant workplace in hazard identification, risk assessment, and determination of control is ensured through effective participation. This slide talks about how the criteria is formulated for determining hazard severity and probability rating to assess the risk levels. In the first column, the rating is given for severity and probability as high, medium, and low. In the middle column, the guidelines are given to assess the severity of the injury. And in the third column, guidelines given to assess the probability of occurrence of the injury. We need to assess the rate of severity and probability as shown in this slide and plot against the criteria as given in the next slide to determine the corresponding risk. This is a matrix for severity and probability for arriving at the risk level for the injury and health impact. Score 4 is considered as extreme risk, which is significant. Score 3 is high risk, which is also considered as significant. For significant impact, we must evaluate the effectiveness of the existing operation control to combat the risk. If not effective or inadequate, we need to review and take steps to improve the controls or introduce new controls. Score 2 is moderate risk, which is insignificant, which is tolerable. Score 1 is low risk, which is acceptable risk and that can be tolerated too. This is also insignificant. However, the operation controls for non-significant impacts are also to be monitored and measured at periodic intervals to ensure for their effectiveness. HIRA means hazard identification and risk assessment. This is a sample format of HIRA register for process department. After doing risk and hazard study for all the activities in the processes, products and services, such of those activities which can or may cause health and physical injury are to be captured in this HIRA register format as per ISO 45001 requirement. This HIRA register will be audited by internal and external auditors. This sample ER format belongs to a process department called Chemical Recovery Boiler Operation and Paper Mill. HIRA should contain all relevant information pertaining to department activities and their health and safety impact on the working crew. At the top rows of the format, write down the name of the department, responsible persons, core team members, document reference number, issue date, etc. Committing columns, there are 15 main columns. Let's see what information we need to fill in these columns. In the first column, write down the main activity and sub-activity. In the second column, you need to furnish the condition of the activity being carried out, whether routine, non-routine, or emergency. Third column state the identified hazard. In the fourth column, spell out the type of hazard. Fifth column state the identified harm or risk. Sixth column, you need to say whether this comes under LOR, that is legal and other requirement. Seventh column, you need to write down the concern, whether legal or interest parties concerned. Next, in the eighth column, referring the impact criteria matrix, you need to spell out the severity rating, whether high, medium, or low. Similarly, in the ninth column, for the probability rating, you need to spell out whether it is high, medium, or low. 10th column, you need to refer the severity versus problem matrix and write down the appropriate risk, which is termed here as initial risk, whether 1, 2, 3, or 4. In the 11th column, state whether the risk is significant or insignificant. 12th column, state the existing controls or proposed. In the 13th column, you have to write down the residual risk, that is, if operational control is available in effect, the initial risk mark -1 will give the residual risk. 14th column, you need to write down whether the risk is significant or insignificant. Here some examples of significant risk are shown with filled in red colors. In the final 15 column, you need to state whether safety procedure or SOP available for the concerned activity. Please scroll through the details given in all the rows and columns for better understand how this HIRA format has been prepared. Every department has to prepare this HIRA register for all the activities in the process, which will be audited by ISO internal and external auditors. This is another HIRA register pertaining to maintenance department, electrical. The activities whose risk are significant are filled in red color. Others are insignificant. Please go through the details in this format for better understanding. This is another HIRA pertaining to non-technical department, that is marketing. Please go through the details in this HIRA format for better understanding. Determine the need of controls. During the risk assessment activities, check the effectiveness of existing control mechanism for the identify. If not effective, improve it or introduce new controls as per the hierarchy of controls as per ESEAP. That is, first focus of elimination or modify the design. Next is the hierarchy is substitution. That is, substitute to less hazardous material or reduce the severity of energy. Next, go in for engineering control. Example, install ventilation system, machinery safety guards, introduce interlocking system and pull cord switches, etc. Next is administrative controls, like introducing safety warning signs, warning sirens or lights, work instruction SOPs, marking yellow lines on walkways, work permits, lotus system, etc. And lastly, using appropriate PPS, personal protective equipment like safety goggles, earplugs, face shields, safety shoes, safety belts, helmets, respirators, and hand gloves. This is another slide highlighting how to eliminate hazards systematically as per ESEAP hierarchy. You can see the most effective way is to start from the top, from elimination to the last effective, that is PPEs. This slide shows some examples of occupational health safety objectives of an organization. To improve the health condition of employees and contract workmen, to identify and control occupational health hazards, to improve hygiene in all public places inside the mill premises, to ensure proper ventilation and illumination in all work centers inside the mill, to bring down the noise levels in noise-prone areas, to contain dust emission in lime and soapstone powder handling areas, to provide appropriate PPS matching the working conditions, to improve the emergency preparedness. All lecturers should work towards improving and achieving these organizational objectives in their department also by having their own department occupational safety objectives. Finally, let's see the benefits of occupational health and safety management system. Protects the health, and for the topmost is protects the health and safety employees and other stakeholders by ensuring healthier and safer conducive workplace including mental health, helps in identifying the business risks and opportunities with respect to occupational safety, ensures effective participation by workers in decision making, framing policy and objectives, helps in continually improve occupational safety performance. Employees' morale improves and they are happy to work in a conducive environment and in an occupational safety management certified company. Improves cost control and financial benefits of the organization. Company's image and reputation improves. We have come to the end of this presentation. Having got certified for ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, many organizations have integrated all these standards, that is IMS, Integrated Management System. The reason is IMS seems to confer a competitive advantage. Larger companies also suggesting that the suppliers develop similar management system for improving business too. In some markets such as Japan and European Union, an organization has to have an IMS in order to conduct businesses. Thus, as more customers and business partners become quality, environment, occupational health safety conscious, implementing IMS confers a competitive advantage. My next video will be on how to conduct ISO audits and management review meetings for all the three standards. Don't miss it. Thank you all for your patience hearing. If you like to view my previous videos on Japanese 5 years concepts, TPM, ISO 9001, ISO 14001, environment aspect impacts, please search Learning with Sivaram in Google or YouTube and click the icon plant in folded hand and select video so that you can view exclusively all my YouTube videos in sequence. If you like these videos, please press the like button, and for the new members, please click the subscribe button and bell icon and share among your friends and others who will be interested. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice day.